People love to romanticize the chase. They act like relationships only happen when a man is out here running behind a woman. But the truth has always been the opposite. The most wanted men are not the ones who chase. They are the ones who stand still. They don't beg. They don't compete. They don't audition. They don't crawl behind anyone. And that alone makes them rare in a world full of men who are terrified of being alone. There is something dangerous about a man who stands by himself, a man who doesn't need a crowd, a woman, or a relationship to feel like a man. He becomes a mystery in a world that overshares everything. He becomes a solid figure in a world that collapses under pressure. His silence hits harder than other men's loud begging. His independence feels like power because it is power. Women feel his energy without a single word being spoken. They sense when a man isn't desperate. They sense when he is grounded. They sense when he is not looking for someone to save him, complete him, or distract him. That inner calm becomes a magnet. The more he stands on his own, the more people circle around him trying to find a way in. A man who has mastered solitude doesn't move like the rest. He talks less. He listens more. He acts with purpose. He isn't racing behind attention. He isn't terrified of quiet. The world sees him differently. Women sense the difference instantly, not because he's single, but because he's whole. And wholeness is the one thing everyone wants, but very few actually build. What makes him valuable is not the absence of a partner. It's the presence of self. It's the fact that he doesn't crumble under loneliness. He doesn't fold when people walk away. He has built his identity brick by brick, alone. That kind of man becomes a walking statement. I can stand on my own. And in a culture obsessed with validation, that level of self-control is priceless. Women don't chase men who ignore them. They chase the men who don't need them, because those men don't come with chaos, panic, or insecurity. They come with peace. And peace is something everybody claims to want, but almost nobody can give. The man who learns to be alone becomes a different kind of creature. He stops trembling at the idea of rejection. He stops needing applause for his decisions. He stops shaping his personality around what others expect. He becomes centered, balanced, and emotionally controlled. Everything about him shifts. Where most men panic in silence, he becomes stronger in it. Where most men seek attention to feel alive, he finds life in stillness. He's not trying to impress anyone. He's not begging to be noticed. His identity is no longer renting space in anyone else's opinion. He has his own foundation. This independence radiates without effort. His calm becomes a force. His composure becomes a warning. Don't bring chaos here. Women feel this deeply, not because he's cold, but because he's controlled. Emotional stability is rare now. Most people bend under pressure. They argue to be heard. They explode to feel powerful. But he does none of that. His emotions don't run his life. He governs them. He decides what he feels, when he reacts, and how he moves. That's what separates him from men who look strong but collapse inside. His strength isn't noise, it's structure, it's order, it's discipline. That's what creates his gravity. He isn't unpredictable. He isn't messy. His life is not built on impulse. It's built on routine, growth, and self-respect. Women don't just see this, they feel it. And what they feel is safety. A man who controls himself is a man who cannot be controlled. That's why he stands out. He isn't addicted to attention or affection. When love arrives, he welcomes it. When it leaves, he stays whole. His happiness doesn't depend on anyone remembering to text him back. That emotional strength is what makes him magnetic. He doesn't drain people. He doesn't demand constant reassurance. He adds to people. His presence feels like a steady foundation in a world made of quicksand. But this calm wasn't handed to him. It was built through storms. The long-term single man doesn't become this way because life was kind. He became this way because life hit him hard and he refused to break. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every silent night alone sharpened him. He learned not to collapse. He learned not to chase pain disguised as love. He learned that peace is more important than attention. He learned that walking alone is better than walking with the wrong people. That's why he no longer gives his energy away easily. His attention is not cheap. His time is not up for grabs. His love is not a prize just for anyone. People must earn access to his calm because his calm cost him years to build. A man like this doesn't play hard to get. He is hard to get. Not because he's arrogant, but because he has boundaries, standards, a sense of self. Most men give too much too fast. Then they wonder why they feel empty. But the long-term single man understands the truth. Not everyone deserves entry into your peace. He filters his connections. He doesn't rush into relationships. He doesn't hand over his emotional world to someone who hasn't proven they can handle it. He knows himself. He trusts himself. He respects himself. And because of that, he moves with a level of confidence that can't be faked. The more he grows into himself, the less he needs validation from others. And that's exactly when love begins to chase him. People gravitate toward what they can't easily shake, toward what feels stable, toward what feels wise, toward what feels complete. And a man who has mastered solitude becomes all three. He's not hiding from the world. He's preparing for it. Stoicism calls it self-governance. Psychology calls it secure attachment. But it all comes down to one thing. He rules himself, and that kind of man becomes a force. He doesn't dominate others. He dominates himself. He doesn't run from emotions. He understands them. He doesn't reject love. He simply refuses to lose himself inside of it. That is why his presence is powerful. That is why his silence is loud. That is why women chase him. Men become attractive when they become whole, because wholeness can't be faked. It can only be forged. At the end of the day, the man women chase the most is the man who doesn't chase at all. Not because he's cold, but because he's complete. Not because he's unavailable, but because he is selective. He has learned that solitude is not punishment, it's preparation, and he protects it like treasure. He carries a quiet strength that doesn't need witnesses. He knows his value without asking for approval. His calm is not weakness, it is discipline. His independence is not fear, it's mastery. His silence isn't emptiness, it's depth. That is why people want access. That is why his presence shakes the room without making a sound. When you no longer need to belong to anyone, you become the one everyone wants to belong to. His life is proof that the strongest men are forged in solitude, not crowds. And here is the truth every man needs to remember. Guard your peace, guard your time, guard your solitude, because that is where your value is built, and that is what makes you magnetic. The man who can walk alone is the man everyone wants to walk with. Leave your comments. Thank you for listening. Lancescurv out. On to the next one. Peace.